Stop crying in my comment sections about how horrible Portland is, what's going on in Portland. You know, Oregon is a state. Portland is a little slither in Oregon, okay? It still exists. People are protesting, but the protests are not only happening in Portland. They're happening all over the country, Johnson. Many, many places. And you know what happens every time Donald Trump sends in the stormtroopers to crack some heads and not be so nice? More people come out. So I feel inspired by it. I feel motivated by it because maybe, just maybe, we got a generation that ain't taking it on the chin, Johnson. And maybe, just maybe, we have a coalition of white, blacks, Latinos, Asians, Native Americans, bi, straight, trans, all together, pushing back Christian, Muslim, Gentile, Jew, whatever, who have you, Buddha, snake worshipers, everybody there. One of the things that's happening now is that the eyes of those who may have formerly not been so swayed by the ongoing events, the protests following George Floyd's murder, they're seeing for themselves exactly how the police and other law enforcement people get down. And they don't like it much, Johnson. And it's not easy to hide. I showed you last week a former Navy veteran getting pepper sprayed and smacked with batons for talking to the officers. He wasn't breaking any bottles or buildings and lighting anything on fire or stealing a jumpsuit out of Target. He was talking to them. He's a grown-ass man with wisdom to expound. Instead of watching it on TV, he wanted to come down and see for himself what was going on in his city. And for that, he got smacked and batoned, pepper sprayed, and then hit in the back of the head as he voluntarily walked away. I don't see you making any videos about it, Johnson, nor do I hear you commenting. Well, here goes another one, Johnson, just in case you didn't get it.
And we murdered people. We did it every day. And your generation doesn't know that. You don't know that. So that's why this Vietnam veteran, combat medic, who took injured and dead soldiers off a helicopter, this is why I did that. Well, I took an oath to defend my country. And then when I got to Vietnam, we committed atrocities. We committed atrocities every single day when I was in Vietnam. I took an oath to defend this government. And when I got to Vietnam, we committed atrocities. I stood next to a ditch in Vietnam, and we murdered 170 Vietnamese people. And you guys don't know that.
Sir, are you all right?
Boy, that was a direct spray. Woo!
Sir, what is your name?
Boy, he got me right in the fucking eye. Oh, fuck.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, we have some of the dumbest cops in the world. That's what we have. Bootlicking cops. Probably have some great cops too, but those guys who did that right there, Johnson, not exactly America's finest. Anytime you have to blindside an old man, a veteran, and did you take any time to hear what he was telling you? He was telling you that he served his country and he ended up doing things for his country that he still lives with today, that still pain him, that he's not proud of, that were wrong. And he's telling you, don't make that mistake. They made us do shit too. We shouldn't have done it. We were wrong to do it. We shouldn't have followed those orders. I guess that is so offensive to these ordained ministers of darkness that they had to pepper spray him. The veteran's name is Mike Hasty. The encounter was captured by a journalist by the name of Andrew Kimmel, who've been on the ground in Portland covering the protests, obviously. Mr. Hasty is a member of the activist organization Veterans for Peace. Portland is ground zero for Donald Trump's federal invasion of cities run by Democrats, vowing to leave his troops in the cities until law and order is restored. You know, it's a little factoid about law and order. This is something that's been fabricated and made up by politicians in order to win elections. It scares the hell out of bigoted white folks. That's why they use it, Johnson. They keep telling them the brown people are coming, the black people are coming, and they're coming to steal your stuff and rape your women and kill your sons and daughters. This happened. It started like in the 1970s. That's where it really got teed up. It continued on in the 80s, ushered in by a lot of help from Bill Clinton himself. The funny thing about it, this mass incarceration thing, which it began to be known by, initiated by Reagan, turned on 10 by Bill Clinton and Joe Biden. It's not that we have exceeded, like crime has gone up. Crime hasn't really gone up, Johnson. Crime pretty much stays flat, but what has gone up is the rate of incarceration. And now in the 2000s, what's gone up is the rate of militarization of those police forces. It's all about money. And for people that say that they read books, that they're learned people, they're knowledgeable people, I don't think you really are, because you would understand the role that private prisons play in our economy. There are places in this country you can go where there is no other industry save for prisons in the entire town. The prison system is holding up towns all across this country. The fear. We have places where there are no black or brown people living or residing in that city that have a prison that's full of them. And what do they get for those prisoners? Back to Mr. Hasty. There are certain things you could do in this life that are so horrible, they're so horrific, you're going to carry them the remainder of your life. And it's something about having a conscience and being a human being. It may not suffice just to say, I was just doing my job. So with slave catchers, Nazis, and cops. Cops who killed Tamir Rice, George Floyd, John Crawford, Walter Scott, Breonna Taylor, Tatiana Jefferson. Donald Trump thinks this is a winner because he knows that there's a segment of society this always works for. It always works for a certain group of people. I think that group of people is thinning. It's thinning. Evidenced by all the people that I see out there in Portland, Seattle, Washington, D.C., wherever you go, there are people coming out of all colors, all shapes, all colors, all orientations. It's a beautiful thing, y'all. I'm not excited, but I am encouraged. Revolution. Oh, and to that officer, or whoever he was, who pepper sprayed the Vietnam vet for talking to him, fuck you. And 10 mofos that look just like you.